What's going on, guys? So this is like round two of this tutorial. What I'm going to do is walk you through setting Blender up for modular design of game assets. It's going to be dealing with more of your exterior assets like walls and um, pretty much walls, platforms, stuff like that, corners, and how to create enough assets um, and differences in the assets to populate pretty much an entire map with very little effort and make things where they kind of fall together like Legos. So for this tutorial you're going to need Blender, and the current version is 2.79. It's right up there, and at this point you're not going to need a 2D studio, but I recommend getting one. I use Adobe Photoshop. I pay the subscription for it. I think it's worth it. Some don't, but if you don't, there are plenty of free art platforms out there, like the GIMP. Be careful when you Google that one. That turn up some pretty interesting results. Paint.net. I think another paid one. I think is Paint Shop Pro. I think that's still a thing. Um, yeah, and there's several others out there. So just get on Google and search them, um, and then find the program that you like. And you will need Unity, right? Just the current version of Unity. You get the free version, just like I have, and it's going to be used for testing your models and kind of see how things line up. All right. So back over to Blender. When you open up Blender, you're going to get, watch, I'll reopen it. You're going to get this screen right here. And just go ahead and click in the viewport, and then you pretty much what we had. All right, so we're going to want to get rid of this light and that camera. So hit A, right click, shift, right click, and just hit delete. Confirm it, and those are gone. Um, and then we're going to want to raise this cube up to the grid level. So we're going to come down here, this little guy right here, click the magnet, and make sure we are on increment. Once you're on increment, grab the toggle on the Z axis and just drag up. And you can do all of this without a mouse. You can just use keyboard shortcuts. So if I was going to move this back down, I would hit G and then the axis, which is Z, and I would hit -1. Okay. And to bring it back up is G, Z, and then just 1. Okay. And then hit enter. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to scale this object to be either 1 unit or 2 units, right? 2 units is probably going to be the easiest to work with. So that brings me to this point. Okay, so Unity and Blender were kind of neat with how they work together. So 1 unit in Blender is 1 unit in Unity, right? And it's 1 meter. So it doesn't, there's no weird math that you have to do, like, or weird scaling. It's not like you create something here that's 10 Blender units and then you got to do some decimal crap on the export to get it to work right. 1 unit in Blender is 1 unit in Unity, all right, and it's going to be a meter. So what we can do, right, we can either loop cut this, which is Control R, oops, hit Tab to go into edit mode, Control R, and you see that the purple line, and we can cut it, and then right click so it centers it, and then hit Z, and then grab this geometry and just delete it. And then you're left with that, and then you just grab all this geometry here and hit F. We could do it that way, or the easier way to do it, get rid of that, is since we're already here, and I'm going to want it on the y-axis is going to be front to back, right? So if I hit 1 on the numpad, okay, so that's front right there. So just click my mouse wheel, bring it back up, and I'm just going to scoot this in 1 unit, okay? And that's going to give me the 2 units wide by 1 unit deep. and this is going to make a perfect wall. Um, Now we're going to clean up some things on this because obviously we're not going to need this back face. We're not going to need the side faces, and we're definitely not going to need the bottom face. So I'm going to hold Shift and select all that geometry and hit Delete, and we're going to select faces. Okay, so that's gone. All right, so now if we went to go move this around, it would actually snap to this origin point here, right? So if I were to select this, hit L, and move it, you know, that's pretty much what we got. All right, so I want this origin point to be down in this corner right here. So I'm going to go into vertex, right click that vertex, go to mesh, snap, and I'm going to snap the cursor to selected. Then I'm going to hit tab and go into object mode, and go to object, transform, origin to 3D cursor. Okay, so that's exactly where I want that, right in that corner. So if I were to duplicate this, right, I would hit, well, you can do a Shift D. Will duplicate. I have nothing but problems with that as far as things being linked, and I don't want to go through the hassle of unlinking and all that crap. So I'm just going to Control C, Control V, and I'm going to drag it out. Now, if you notice, go into wireframe, because it's at 2, and I've got my origin point down there, this is going to snap right into it, right? So it's going to snap seamlessly with it. But there's actually 2 objects there. Right, that's kind of what we're looking for. So I'm going to delete this one. That's exactly how we want it to act. And it's going to be the corners, the long walls, even the floor tiles, how everything is going to snap together like that. Okay. So another thing that we're going to do with this model real quick before we get rolling is this edge right here, this bottom edge, we're going to want to extend that out, right? So I'm going to go just E for extrude, and then the axis, so that would be the y-axis, and I drug it out 1. So this pivot point is, I need to change it to here. So we're going to go mesh, snap, snap to selected, tabbed into object mode, object, transform, and we're going to change that transform or the origin to the 3D cursor. All right, there we go. So now this is going to snap based on this now. So when I go to create a wall, let me change this one to uh, go wall 1. Okay, so now I'm going to Control C and V, and I'm going to drag it out. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. And this one's going to get changed to wall 2. And I'm going to go ahead and change the size of this to be either 3 or 4. It doesn't matter, just as long as you stick to the at least 1 unit, right? So if I go into edit mode, which is all using tab, go to Z, B, there you go. I don't want this one though. There we go. I'm going to drag that out 2. 1, 2. Okay. Hit A, fill it back in, go back into object mode, and you're going to see it snaps. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So now that we got those 2 walls done, now we're going to add some detail to these, right? Because we don't want them to be the same. So I'm thinking that we'll start with, actually I'm going to go ahead and actually delete this wall, and we're going to start with this one. Okay, so this one's going to be wall 1. And now we're going to go into edit mode. Yay. And now we're going to cut some faces or cut some edges into here. So we're going to use Control R. And let's go right there. And I think what we're going to do, no, of course you got snap on. Turn that off. And there. controller of the front. Now I want to have two cuts, so there we go. And then I want to scale it on the X axis. Bring this out a little bit. Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put another one probably right here. Bring that up a little bit. And another one down here. Okay. So that's the base geometry that I'm going to use to create the uniqueness of the object. So select these two. Z. Oops. Let's go to the front view. Let's bring these up a little bit. Probably about right here. And then I'm going to want to bring this entire edge from here to here, from here. Get rid of that guy real quick. Boom, boom. And go back into front mode. And I'm going to scale that. So, scale on the X. There we go. There's some pretty unique stuff going on, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and what do I want to do here? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and maybe bring these, go to the side view, and we're going to bring these in just a little bit. And we're going to do another cut right here, that right there. We're going to bring those in just a little bit. Okay. So there's that. Make sure there's no crazy faces anywhere. Delete that face. Bam. Okay, so now we have that. So that's the face. And see here, or go right there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another technique where I'm going to snap it to a vertex. Okay, so I'm going to select my vertex right here, and I'm going to snap it to this vertex. So I'm going to hit G, hit Y, and snap it. Okay, so now it's going to be straight. See here. Yep. So there's a nifty little wall. And now what I can do is go into object mode, Control C, Control V, and drag that thing. Oh, need to make sure this is on increment and it's turned on so we keep our alignment. So now bring it over one more. Oops, I need this one actually. Put this one back to where it was. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scale this out one right and one left. Okay, so use B to select, go to vertex first, B, and I am on incremental. There you go. That's 3 and 4. Okay. Now I'm going to have to snap that back to here for some reason. I still haven't figured out this whole snapping thing to the, or at least the origin point, and always messes with me. Transform. Nope, 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 nope. Transform. 3D cursor. And there we go. So now we got two walls. Okay. Now I want to change this up a little bit, right? Because I want it to be a little unique. So I can add another series of cuts right here. Control R. Boom. Oops. Do it again. Control R. 2 cuts. Yeah, I'll get it, buddy. Alright, so now I'm going to go to face, and I'm just going to extrude this, but I want it to be about the same as what I'm dealing with here. So, extrude Z. Oops. Now, did that work though? Yeah, it did. So now I'm going to want to snap this into a vertex as well. Vertex, grab Z, there. Now I'm going to use increment again, and let's see how this turned out. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and scale these little fellers right here. And I want to just scale it on the X, only the X. There we go. Make sure there's no geometry hiding anywhere on me. Okay, so that one's pretty unique. It sets itself apart from that one. Okay, so now once we got that done, let me rename this one to wall 2, right? Wall 2. I'm going back into object mode, and we're going to need to create a divider, right? So when we go to texturing these things, we need something that's going to hide that seam, right? Because you're typically not going to be able to um, get the seam to be super unnoticeable. So we'll go right there. Let me make sure, where's this one at? Okay, there's that origin point. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to create, and I'm going to create a cube. Scale that cube on there, and go to top. Boom. Is that going to be hiding that enough? Okay, so I need to align this. Oops. There, that'll work. And now I need to figure out how I'm going to hide this, right? So that should be on the ground, yep. So it doesn't definitely need to be that far over, but it does need to be extended up a little bit, so. Well, not that high, that's for damn sure. Snap this to vertex. And maybe just a little bit higher. Probably about right there. And then, of course, this is going to get moved in. So, move that in. Because I don't want it like this, right? Because it's not going to hide anything. I want it something like this. And then back here, this is just going to be a lot of cutting and stuff kind of to optimize that geometry. But there are things I know I don't need. I don't need that bottom one. Delete faces. I don't need that back one. And delete the faces. Okay. At least right now, I'll probably put a cut across here and then seal that up. All right, so now that I got that, how do I want to handle two of those? So I kind of want these to be down here, right? And then here, and I'm going to move that down too. Right about there. Okay. Now what do I want to do with this? And then take this face and move it in. Right there. Yeah, that'll work. Now I'm going to cut the hell out of this back here. Get rid of some of it. I need it to about right there. Okay, so if that's the case, I need one more cut. Be right just underneath. There we go. So all this back here can be gone. Boop. Gone. And then I do need to seal that off. So hit F for face. There. So that's sealed. And I don't have to seal that because nobody's really going to see that or see what's underneath it. Okay. So now that I got that divider, I'm going to call that divider. And now object mode and Control V. Okay, so this is going to be over here too. I'm not worried about that one. So this one and this one, I need to join them. There. Now they're one. So I need to select that, and I need to reset the origin again. Object, transform it, origin to 3D cursor. Good to go. And now this one I need to set up real quick. This should be relatively simple to do. There we go. And then this one and this one, we Control J and join them. Okay, so now everything we do from this point on out is going to be done using these two bits right here. So let's go over to this one, and we're going to do some beveling. Beveling's awesome. So we want to bevel this. We want to bevel, whoops, not that one, that's for sure. Definitely want to bevel that. Maybe that one too. And that one. Probably these two as well. And I'm going to hit Control B, and it's going to bevel. Wow. I'll bring it down to where it looks kind of nice. And then I sit here and work with the number of segments. Because remember, this is just for game design. It doesn't matter. You don't have to stick to straight quads. You can use triangles and quads as long as you don't use n-gongs. Probably two. Shit. I need to redo that because I need to pay attention to the settings. 0.05 at 2. Okay. So now I need to select this one and do the same thing over here. Shit, I didn't get that one either, did I? So 0.05, don't need to do that. Okay, that's not working right. I know why. Need to go back into object mode, Control A, and I need to apply all the rotation and scaling. First, I need to go back. There we go. So Control A, Control A. There. Now we'll go back to this one. Oh shit, hit the wrong one. Why didn't that one work? Oh, because I need that one. Okay. Same thing over here. This is a pretty slow process, but it's faster than modeling all this out one by one, like complete structures. So make sure I got everything. Control B. There we go. Now, tools. See how this looks. Okay. Well, there you go. There's the two segments. This divider. Exit out of here. There you go. Structural wall 2. 1. All right. And they are the same, right? Yep, they're good. So now what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to cut a corner, right? So I found the easiest way to do that is just take the shorter one and drag it over to where you want to. Oops, shit. I hit my increment. There you go. All right, this is going to be structural wall actually ext corner. It's gonna be the exterior corner, right? Going to the top view, boom, going to exit. So now what I'm gonna want to do is I want to cut this, right, so that I can extrude it along this axis, right, along the y-axis, and that is going to essentially give us our corner. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. But at the same time, I kind of want to keep it to where we still have that little joint right there. So we're probably going to move this to the other side. Oop. Right there. Because I want to keep the divider. So over here. So I'm going to have to create two objects. Well, one more object. I have to create a plane and have to rotate at 45 degrees and cut it like right here all the way across. And then I'll extrude that back. So I'm going to go into edit mode. Excuse me. And I'm going to create a plane. And I'm going to rotate that on the Y 90 degrees. And I'm going to rotate that on the X 40. Nope, wrong way. rotate on the Z 45. Would that be the right cut? Nope, negative 45. That's the right cut. Then I'm going to want to scale this up. So make sure it cuts everything. And now I'm going to drag this into place. Bam. And I don't want it really to cut that. So cut it right there. And then I'm going to select this, go into tab it into edit mode. And then I'm going to go to tools. I'm going to do knife project, and I'm going to hit cut through. Go back into object mode, get rid of that plane we just created, tab it back into edit mode, and then I have all this geometry right here, so that I got to get rid of. So I want to get rid of all of this. Delete vertex and delete vertex. So now we're left with this little fella right here, right? So now I need to move this down to here, right? I got to figure out how I'm going to do this now. So there it is. There it is, all cut up. Because I need that floor tile all the way down. But we'll work with that once we get into top view. So let's try this one real quick. Extrudes, hit 1, and let's go 1. Will that work? Actually, let's try something else. Let's do a scale Y 0. Okay, and then we're going to move it. There we go. And now I can clean all this up. So, lines. Oops. Make sure that that's looking right. I will be right back. Well, there's that. So now I got to figure this out. So hold up. Oh shit, that's easy. All right. That was a weird cut. Let me redo this entire thing. There we go. Snap to vertex. That should have fixed it. Okay, hit all. Remove doubles. Okay, sure, it did it. So now I need to select this one. This one, and that one. Extrude, Scale Y 0. Grab Y. Oh shit. Scale Y 0. Okay. Grab Y. Let's go 1. That might be a bit much because I need to bring it right to there. So grab Y. There. And there's somewhat of a funky corner piece. Alright, why did that do that? I know why. Okay, I can fix that. This piece, this piece, this piece. So there's our corner piece. And I'll have to clean up all this geometry, but I'm not going to do that right now. I just need to see, need to make sure it's going to rotate Z 180. Oops, shit. Vertex. There we go. Make sure that it's obviously not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So let's rotate that again. 90. Oops. I was on the Z axis. No. 90, but being a pain in the ball sack. There we go. And probably get rid of that piece right there. So let's go ahead and delete that one. Go to here and go to edit. Go to faces. 1. Delete faces. And then line. Doink. Edge. There you go. And face. There. Now that's fine. Right there. See, that's ugly. That geometry's ugly, ugly. So God, that's horrible. So what I need to do is dissolve. Boom, 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 boom. Oops, not exit. Dissolve edges. Thank you. And then there and right there. I need to dissolve those edges. Nope, no, nope, nope. Just this one. Dissolve edge. Kind of clean up this geometry a little bit. See, I don't want you to do that. How about this? I'll go to vertex. From here to here. Face, there you go. Edge, take this one, this one, this one. Not so much that one. Dissolve. Alright. There should have been there. Let's find out what's going on. When they're not doing it, oh, I probably hit that face split crap. Let's see here. Whoa. Okay, that was not cool. Dissolve those faces. Okay, it looks a lot cleaner. Alright. It shouldn't give me any problems when it comes to smoothing. Let's find out. Nope, none at all. Alright. Yep, so there's the corner piece. So now I'll show you how this all ties together. Top view mode, go to wireframe, Control C, Control V. We're going to want it incremental. We're going to want to rotate this on the z-axis. So we're going to go 90 degrees, negative 90 degrees, hit OK. Now what's going to be happening is this is going to snap right here. And there's a corner piece. And then, like I said, some of it will have to be cleaned up because of stuff like that, which just pretty much entails me moving those pieces in a little bit so they're not intersecting. But the cool thing is now we can kind of piece everything together. Watch. Throw another corner in there. Rotate Z. 90, right? Yep. And bring this little fella in right there. And you see how easily and how quickly we can throw crap together, right? And throw levels together. And rotate that 180. 1, 2. You know what I mean? So yeah, it turns out pretty good. And then what we'll do up top here is you build a floor tile. Say right here, just build a floor tile. Create a plane, and we're going to want to snap that to a vertex. Grab, and you want to snap it. There we go. So that way, when we start placing this, it's already there. So go to Tools, go to Side View. Oops. And there you go. Now you have like a building or a platform. And one of the things that's cool about this is um, there's only really four pieces to this, right? I mean, it's got endless possibilities, right? Because the base structure is already there, so you can just edit one of the meshes, and then you have a whole, whole new piece there. But you don't have to do a whole lot of um, what's the word I'm looking for? A whole lot of editing. You know what I mean? Like with how hard these edges are and stuff like that. It's easy just to go here and you know bevel the heck out of things. Kind of keep it to where we had it, 0.05, and then like say maybe something a little bit bigger than that, maybe point 0.2 with a bevel of 3. You know what I mean? So the possibilities are endless with this. And when you're done, you do have to kind of clean up the like this right here. You're going to want to grab that and snap that right there. And then you can hit B, A, B again. Then hit remove doubles. And you see up here removes one vert. There you go. And then this is all set up for you. So yeah, so it's really, this theory really gets a good result fairly quick. I mean, I've been working on this for 47 minutes, stumbling on my words and all that stuff, but still managed to get it done. That's all I'm going to do for this one. I will be back for another one. In fact, I may even delete this video and then actually create a formal video for this. So if you watched, thanks for watching. Maybe I'll see you in the next video.